we have some belief about the way the world works. And that belief drives our decision making and our actions. Now imagine, for the millions of years that something like us has been on this planet, we lived primarily in a physical environment until about 250,000 years ago. A physical environment where we knew that if we pushed down a rock, that the rock would move. We could take care of ourselves just fine. We didn't have to worry about much else. And so this approach to the world, which Newton captured in his 3 laws of motion, is often modeled by physicists using a billiard ball. So if I hit the cue ball, it will hit the billiard ball. It will move in a relatively predictable direction. I can actually calculate it with simple mathematics. I don't have to worry about what the balls think. I don't have to worry about my previous relationship with the balls or the environment that they live in. None of it is important. It will all happen mechanical. And so we have this model, Newton's paradigm. It ain't gonna move unless you push it. Then about 250,000 years ago, all of a sudden we find ourselves not living in a physical world, but in a mental world of social relationships. And where's the paradigm we use to explain it? We just take the one that we'd had in the physical world and begin to apply it, whether it works or not. So we reach the conclusion, using this paradigm, that if we want to move people, we better push on them. And according to Newton, it requires force. And this drives certain attitudes toward management. Right? It's going to drive a certain kind of management style. It's going to be the belief that the way that you get people motivated is you kick ass and you take names. Or if you're somewhat more gentle, perhaps you'll hold up a carrot for people to go after. The problem with this is that when you push on people, people push back on you. Generally, we start pushing on people with reasons. So, give you an example. My wife and I rarely disagree about anything. We have just a wonderful storybook marriage, right? Every so often, though, we'll have a little disagreement about something like who should take out the garbage or where we're going to eat dinner or whatever it may be. And because of the kind of person I am, I present an argument, ironclad logic, why I'm right. I take all the facts, put them into an argument, why I'm right and she's wrong. And she listens patiently, and when I'm done, she looks at me and she says, well, honey, you're right. I never thought about it that way. Now, is that the way it works with you when you're in a disagreement with? Of course not. She simply takes the reasons, turns them around, creates her own argument that not only explains why she's right and I'm wrong, but why I'm also an idiot on top of it. Okay? That's generally the way it works. So the more we push on people with reason, the more they push back. I have never seen anybody win an argument in my entire life. I've seen some people give up, but I've never seen anybody ultimately win an argument. So we'll tend to push with that. If we don't get far with reasons, the next thing we'll push with is our voice. We talk louder and longer. We just continue to batter people with words in the highest volume that we possibly can in the belief that somehow it's going to move them. But what happens when you're being battered with words? Do you all of a sudden start listening and try to internalize them and see what the truth of them is? No, you sit and wait for your turn to batter with words, right? You're not even listening, you're just saying, give me applause so I can jump in. So a lot of what we end up doing has counterintuitive effects. The more people argue with you, the less you're going to believe what they're telling you. The more they yell at you and pound on you with words, the less you're going to respond to what they're doing. And it really plays out when we think about these sort of traditional ways of motivating people that come to us from behavioral science. I mean, you all remember this. Behavioral science is all about, I don't need to worry about what's going on in the mind because people just respond to reward and punishment. I realize this is a gross oversimplification. So if I use the right kind of rewards, the right kind of punishment, I'm going to do fine. There's just one problem, is that we are not rats. We do have minds, we do make sense out of the world, and then we make decisions based on the way we make sense out of the world, how it is we're going to act.